Welcome back to another PyLadies Rivers Python training session. I am absolutely thrilled to be here with all of you today. In this session, we're actually going to step just a little bit outside of writing raw Python code. Instead, we're introducing two tools that literally every single Python developer needs to learn, ideally right at the beginning of their programming journey. Those tools are Git and GitHub. Now, if you've been working through our 8-week mentorship program, first of all, a massive congratulations on making it this far. But you've probably noticed that as your code gets a bit more complex, just keeping track of all your files and changes gets pretty tricky, right? Well, today we are going to solve that problem for good.
Okay, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off by talking about the concept of a code time machine. Then we'll clear up the difference between Git and GitHub. After that, we'll walk through your very first commands, show you how to connect to the cloud, and then we'll wrap the whole thing up with some best practices and your weekly assignment.
All right, part 1, the code time machine. Why do you need Git already? So you might be sitting there right now thinking, wait a second, I literally just started learning Python. Why in the world do I need to learn completely new tools on top of that already? And you know what? I completely understand. It can definitely feel like we're stacking a whole lot on your plate all at once. But the answer is actually really simple, and it addresses something every single programmer experiences. As you keep writing and improving your Python programs, you're inevitably going to want to fix bugs or, add exciting new features. And sometimes, actually a lot of times, while you're trying to make things better, you'll make a mistake that completely breaks your previously working code. A super common beginner mistake is accidentally deleting a crucial file and having literally no way to get it back. Without a safety net, recovering that lost work is just incredibly frustrating.
And that is exactly where Git comes in. Think of Git as a literal time machine for your code. It remembers every single saved milestone. Just imagine you've written this fantastic script that prints "Hello, PyLadies Rivers," and it works perfectly today. But then tomorrow, you decide to make it a bit fancier by asking the user for their name and, oops, you accidentally delete a crucial line and suddenly nothing works. Well, if you're using Git, you don't need to panic at all. Git has been silently tracking your changes, allowing you to safely just jump right back to yesterday's perfectly working version with just a few keystrokes. It's amazing because it completely removes the fear of experimenting with your code.
Let's move on to part 2, Git versus GitHub, and really understanding the difference between the two.
You're going to hear people use the words Git and GitHub interchangeably all the time, but they're absolutely not the same thing, and this breakdown brilliantly illustrates that distinction. So Git is the actual software that you install locally on your own computer. It's the engine, right? It manages your project's history right there on your laptop. GitHub, on the other hand, is a website. It's a cloud platform where you can store and share those Git projects. You can kind of think of GitHub like Google Drive or Dropbox, but it's designed specifically for software developers. So again, Git manages the project locally, and GitHub shares it with the world. In fact, GitHub essentially becomes your professional portfolio. It's exactly what future employers, collaborators, and even AI developers look at.
Okay, part 3, your first Git commands. Let's see local version control in action.
Let's see how all this builds into practical application on your actual machine. Before you can use Git, you simply need to install it. You'll just visit the official Git website, download the version for your specific operating system, and install it like any other everyday program. Once you've got that done, open up your terminal. So that's command prompt if you're on Windows, terminal on a Mac, or even the terminal that's built right into VS Code, and type git -- version. If the terminal prints out a version number, you are golden. It's working. After that, you just need to run a quick setup to configure your name and email address. This is just so Git knows exactly who is making the changes. Oh, and a quick pro tip here. Make sure to use the exact same email address you plan to use when you eventually sign up for GitHub. It makes connecting them later so much easier.
All right, once you've created a brand new folder on your computer for your Python project, you're going to open your terminal inside that folder and type this command, git init. That's short for initialize. Typing this tells Git to basically wake up and start tracking everything inside that specific folder. Now here's a really important note. You only ever have to run this command once per project. A super common beginner mistake is typing git init inside every single folder or subfolder. Don't do that. Just do it once in your main top-level project folder. Think of it like turning on the security cameras for that specific room. You just flip the switch once.
As you're working away on your Python code, you are going to want to know what Git is seeing behind the scenes, right? Checking your project status by typing git status will tell you exactly what's going on. It's going to list out which files are brand new, which files you've recently modified, and which files are officially ready to be saved into your history. Honestly, consider this your safe zone command. You can type git status literally 20 times a day if you want, just to get your bearings and see where you're at. Whenever you finish making some changes and you've verified them with a quick status check, you need to stage them. You can do this all at once using the command
git add space dot. That space and the period are very important. That little dot simply means add all the files in this folder. Think of this step like you're gathering all your files and placing them onto a stage. You're just getting them perfectly arranged, posing them, and getting them ready for a group photograph.
After staging your files, you save them permanently into your history using a commit. You'll type git commit space -m, followed by a descriptive message wrapped in quotes, something like create first Python program. If git add was arranging all your files on the stage, git commit is pressing the shutter button on the camera and actually taking the snapshot. That snapshot is now a permanent, safe milestone in your project's time machine. And just so you know, that little -m simply stands for message.
Now, what's really interesting here is how much clear communication matters, even when you're just talking to your future self. Writing bad commit messages like update or changes might seem fast and easy today, but trust me, when you look back at your history in 3 months, you will have absolutely no idea what you actually updated. Good messages, on the other hand, are clear and active, things like add calculator function or fix login bug. The absolutely crucial point is that your commit messages must clearly explain what changed so you can understand your own progress later on. You really want to treat your commit history like a professional logbook.
Moving right along to part 4, connecting to the cloud. Let's get your project online. Now we'll move online and see how GitHub allows you to securely store and share those local snapshots we just learned how to take. First things first, you'll go to github.com and create a free account. Once you're signed in, you'll just click a button to create a new repository. Now, repository or repo is just a fancy Git term for a project folder. Give it a meaningful name, maybe something like Python practice. GitHub will then generate a unique web address, a URL, just for that repository. Then, you hop back into your local terminal on your computer, paste a quick command they provide to connect your local folder to that new URL. And finally, you upload all your snapshots using the push command. You are quite literally pushing your code up into the cloud.
As you continue learning Python with us here in the PyLadies Rivers community, this loop is going to become your everyday routine. It goes like this. You write your code, you check your status with git status, you stage your changes with git add dot, you commit your work with a clear message, and then you push your updates up to GitHub. I know, it might feel like a whole lot of commands and steps right now, but I promise you, with just a little practice, these few steps will become completely second nature. You'll literally be doing this in your sleep.
And why is this workflow so incredibly empowering? Well, because this exact workflow is how professionals collaborate worldwide, without stepping on each other's toes or overwriting each other's code. In fact, all those famous Python libraries you are going to be using very soon in this mentorship, tools like Pandas for data science, Django and Flask for web development, Matplotlib for graphing, these are all open source projects hosted right there on GitHub. That means anyone, including you, can go look at their source code today, learn from professional developers, and literally scroll through their exact commit history. It's all out there in the open.
All right, part 5, best practices and assignment. Let's go over your tasks for the PyLadies Rivers community this week.
Let's wrap up by looking at some really important beginner best practices. First off, commit your work regularly. Don't wait until the end of the entire week to take a single massive snapshot. Take lots of smaller ones. Write those meaningful, descriptive messages we talked about. Push your projects to GitHub frequently so they're always backed up in the cloud. Always try to include a README file, which is really just a simple text document that explains what your project does to anyone visiting your GitHub page. But above all else, and please hear me on this one, absolutely never upload sensitive information like passwords, personal tokens, or API keys to the public internet. Remember, GitHub is generally public by default, so you really have to keep your secrets secret.
And that brings us to your assignment for the week. Before our next class, I want you to get your hands dirty with this. You are going to install Git on your machine. Then, you'll create your GitHub account. After that, create a brand new repository called Python Practice. Once that's set up, I want you to write a very simple Python script that just prints your name. That's it, super simple. Then, you'll initialize Git in that folder, commit your script, push it to your new GitHub repository, and finally, share that GitHub link with your mentors so we can all celebrate your success.
Just to quickly recap what you really should take away from today's lesson. Git helps you manage your projects locally on your computer. It is the engine. GitHub helps you showcase your projects globally to the world. It is the gallery. These two essential tools work hand in hand to manage and showcase your Python development journey right from day one.
I want to leave you with this thought as we finish up.
Make it a habit to use Git for every single project you create from now on, no matter how small or insignificant you might think it is. The earlier you build this habit, the more confident and professional you'll become as a developer. Remember, every great programmer you admire started exactly where you are sitting today.
Thank you so much for joining me in this session. If you found this helpful, definitely make sure to subscribe to the PyLadies Rivers YouTube channel for more of these weekly lessons. Keep practicing because consistent practice is the real key to becoming a confident Python developer. As you sit down to write code tomorrow, ask yourself, will your next Python script be a fragile experiment just sitting on your desktop or a professionally tracked project ready to share with the world? I think we both know the answer to that. Best of luck with your assignment, and I will see you in the next training session.